More than 3 weeks after the Santa Barbara South oil field blowout in Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday finally ordered the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timi Silva, to visit the community and ascertain the level of damage caused by the oil spill. This came as the Ministry of Environment issued a directive for the closure of operations at the Santa Barbara oil field. Despite the directives, access to the incident site by government officials and operator of the oil field, ATO Eastern Exploration and Production Company, has been hampered by the intensity of the outflow rate from the wellhead. Before we begin with our guest, let's get an update on the Nembe oil spill in Bayelsa State. Our Rice correspondent, Ovieteme George, joins us now. Good morning, Ovieteme. Well, what's the update out there? Yes.
Dr. Abati.
Good morning. So what's the...
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Rufai. And good morning, Tundu. I wanted to add MKO Abiola, but let me leave that for Efeni.
No, feel free.
Good morning.
The Efeni effect. But Ovieteme George, let's get straight to this very serious business. What's the update out there? We saw your report yesterday, and we were shocked that this kind of, tragedy would again occur in Nigeria in 2021.
That's my prayer. That report was done on Sunday. That was when it was 3 weeks and 1 day. Today it is 3 weeks and 3 days. The spill continues unabated, and I would like to tell you that the company has actually mobilized another company to contain the extent of the spill. However, it is a 20-man crew with the medical personnel that are stationed there at the Santa Barbara River. Now, what they do is dig a pit, and then as it is flowing from both sides of the wellhead, it goes straight into the pit for them to evacuate with a barge to their flow station and come back again and do so. Now, the thing is, at night they don't work. It's quite dark at night. They don't work. So that is what is leading to the spill spreading to the communities, creeks, and fishing settlements along the coastline of Basambri local government area. So that's the situation. It is ebb tide and flow tide. When it ebbs, the oil settles, at the roots of the mangrove forest and into lands along the riverside. But when it flows, it extends to communities who are not even close in proximity to that area. That is just the challenge right now. It is still spewing crude oil into the atmosphere, crude oil in gaseous form. But when it settles on the bed of the river, it is crude oil. That is the sad situation right now.
Incredibly sad. And what about the people who are affected? Like you said, it's very difficult to contain the spread to other communities. So what's happening with regards to the people's livelihood at this moment, which they've lost? There's been a lot of talk about some kind of palliative being sent to them, which was deemed inadequate. What's the update on that?
Well, they may be peasant farmers and fishermen. They live along the coastline, depending only on fishing and farming for subsistence, but they are certainly not the wretched of the earth. But as it stands now, they are helpless. They are looking on to the company ITO, they are looking up to the Bayelsa State government, but more to the federal government to come and halt the spread of crude oil in their environment. It's a sad picture, and they are lamenting. Now, note also that ITO Exploration Company has distributed relief materials, but the question has always been and still is how many persons will benefit from it. Talking about 45 communities impacted by the spill, directly or indirectly. So that's the sad situation. They can't go fishing. Notice something about the people. Fishing and farming is woven tight into their agrarian lifestyle. So what else can they resort to? They live on the coastline. When it is cold at night, they are there. When it is hot in the day, they are there. And now their source of livelihood has been halted by what they never bargained for, an oil spill. That's the sad situation. When you cast your nets, and a net soiled by crude oil, you take it elsewhere and cast it. The smell alone, as pungent as it is, could scare away fishes and other aquatic bodies in the river. So that's just how it is. It is sad. You know, the poem by Gabriel Okara, The Call of the River Nun. Yes. No, that's fresh water. This is saline water, this is salt water. But that actually captures the lifestyle of the man who lives in the Niger Delta, fishing and farming, and that is what they do in the coastline. What can they do? A woman was lamenting. She said she cannot train her children anymore, paying their fees at Niger Delta University. That is just one sad narrative. And there's one unconfirmed report about a 9-year-old girl who died as a result of complications of the spill. That has not been ascertained yet. An autopsy has not been done. She has been buried. I really can't say if it was actually true because no professional handled that matter. But you see, it is good to avert an occurrence of such magnitude. It is quite high. The intensity is high. Even if the oil company is trying its best, it cannot handle it. It has even admitted it cannot, and it needs technical assistance and expertise to halt the spill. Okay. That's the sad situation right now. The people's lifestyle is halted.
Okay, Ovietemi, let's put context to it. Huffington Post is reporting, there was a report in the Huffington Post that says this is estimated to be about 200,000 barrels spilled into the water now. Because that wellhead was an abandoned one, product wasn't coming out of it for a while, formerly owned by Shell. And if that is spilling at the rate of like 10,000 barrels per day, for all these days now, it's well over 200,000 barrels per day in the water. Can you confirm that to us now?
I really cannot confirm that, but there are technocrats. They are professionals in this field. They know so much about the history of oil spills, not only in Nigeria, but also in the world. They can even make reference to the Gulf of Mexico and what happened there. This one is more like a torment to the people. Now, being evacuated with barges every day, making various trips by the company contracted to contain the spill, to contain the spread of the spill. Now, what happens at night? When they, of course, shut down business and wait until day to resume duties and activities at the Santa Barbara River, at the well site. What happens? So many more is actually spewed into the environment at night than at day, because by day, they are evacuating it in barges, but at night, nobody's there. That is why communities that are not in proximity to the 01 well of ITAO OML 29 are feeling the impact too, because when it flows to their communities. And when it ebbs, the oil that flows to their community will stay by the shore. And you know one thing about fishing. Fishes automatically disappear from that area. They retreat to where they can survive. And if fishes are not there to be caught, how then can the people survive? That's the sad situation here.
Well, Ovietemi, yesterday when we spoke with a traditional ruler from one of the communities, His Highness Barakuma Dakolo, we had asked him about official responses to this development. And he was making the point that yes, ATO tried to show some concern, but that they were giving people 2 cups of rice each, and that officials of the federal government had not yet shown up. But in the intro, we could see that, well, the federal government has now asked the Minister of State for Petroleum to get involved, and also for Nostra to do whatever is within its capacity. But all of that, after 3 weeks, could it be that nobody knew that this was going on for complete 3 weeks? What's your assessment of the official response? Because both the company in charge of that Christmas tree, that OML 39, right? Yeah? 29. and other parties involved, they have a responsibility to ensure the protection of assets and that the resources do not escape to the disadvantage of the environment and the people therein. I see you are smiling.
Okay, yesterday, what can one do? Just smile away, hoping for a divine intervention because the people are going through a lot. The health challenges may not be in the immediate time, but much later. These are what they say can lead to cancer and all that due to hydrocarbons spilled into the river. But ITO has said something that it cannot ascertain the number and level of hydrocarbons spilled into the river from that non-producing well it described it. Now, yesterday, His Royal Majesty King Bubaraye Dakolo, the Ibenana Way of Ekpetiama, he is not from any of these communities. He is from Yenagoa local government area. But the area we're talking about is Nembe, which is Bayelsa East Senatorial District. While he spoke on the issue was because he has been an environmentalist all his life before he ascended the throne to lead and rule over his people. Now, talking about the response time. The spill occurred on the 1st of November. I was told by the people. Now, ITO mobilizes officials and a joint investigation team to the site on the 5th of November. That was about roughly 4 to 5 days after the spill started. Now, the Bayelsa State Governor, Daoyediri, pushed out a statement through his Chief Press Secretary and also through the Commissioner for Information, Aiba Ina Duba, compelling the company to live up to its responsibilities, go there, clamp the leaking oil well, and provide some form of relief for the people, compensation he calls it. And that was when ITO went there on the 13th of November, and gave relief materials. Giving relief materials is in response to the people's cry. It's in response to the government's anger over their slow attention to what's happening. But look at it now. 45 communities have been impacted, perhaps many more because the river is flowing every day. Now, bags of rice, Indomie, toiletries, a lot of things. But how many persons can benefit from that? How many from 45 communities? If you look at approximately 200 persons in a community, 45 communities, it really cannot go round. But the good thing is Chief Temepre Malin Silva, former governor of Bayelsa State, and today Minister for State Petroleum Resources, will be visiting the Santa Barbara River and specifically the well 01 of OML 29. Now, this visit is quite significant to the people. Not only is he coming in the capacity of a federal government representative, he's also coming as a son of the soil. He is from Brass, in Brass local government area, that is Okpoma, and then he's also from Nembe, in Nembe local government area. So some form of assurance should come from him, relating with the people, bonding with them as he has always done, and perhaps speak in the native tongue, the mother tongue, the language that they can understand, that the federal government is doing something about it. How soon do you think this spill can be halted? I cannot say, but I can wager it is not today.
Or when restoration will begin in the people's interest. Well, thank you very much, Ovieteme George, for the wonderful work you are doing. Thank you very much indeed.